Minna stood near the large window of the colony station, looking at the stars. Her eyes were red. She had cried for hours. Her heart was broken. Just that morning, she was engaged to Rowland, a rich officer working for the Galactic Union. Her family was proud. Everyone thought she was lucky. Rowland was powerful, handsome, and had connections in high places. Their wedding was planned for next week. But then the message came. Rowland canceled the engagement. No reason. No apology. Just a short message sent through the official system. Engagement canceled. No further contact. Minna's world collapsed. She didn't understand what happened. Her parents were angry. Her friends whispered behind her back. Some said she must have done something wrong. Others said Rowland found someone better. Minna didn't care anymore. She felt like she had lost everything. That night, she walked through the lower levels of the colony station. The place was dark and cold, filled with workers and machines. No one cared who she was here. She liked that dot as she passed near the docking bay. She saw a man cleaning the floor. He wore an old worker uniform, and his face was hidden behind a mask. His hands moved slowly but carefully. He didn't look up. Minna stopped. "Do you like this job?" she asked, her voice bitter. The man looked up. His eyes were calm. "It's quiet," he said. Minna laughed sadly. "Quiet sounds nice right now." The man removed his mask. He had a kind face, not young but not old. He didn't look rich or powerful, just peaceful. "I'm Minna," she said. He nodded. "I'm Taurine." There was a silence between them. The sound of machines hummed in the background. "I just lost my engagement today," Minna said. "Maybe I should marry a stranger now. Maybe that would be better." Taurine tilted his head. "Would you?" Minna smiled weakly. "Why not?" To her surprise, Taurine said, "Okay." She blinked. "What?" "I'll marry you," Taurine said simply. Minna stared at him. He didn't look like he was joking. He didn't even smile. He was serious. "I don't know you," she said. "You don't know Rowland either," he replied. That made her quiet. Maybe it was her pain. Maybe it was the silence of the station. Maybe it was the way Taryn's voice was calm and honest. But Minna said the words she never thought she would say. "Let's do it." There was a small legal AI center nearby. It allowed fast marriages under station law. It was usually used by travelers, but it didn't ask many questions. Taurine placed his hand on the scanner. Minna did the same. The AI asked them simple questions. They both said yes to everything. "Marriage confirmed," the AI said. "You are now legally bound under union law." Just like that, Minna was married to a stranger. She looked at Taurine. "Now what?" He gave a small smile. "Now we go home." Taryn's home was in the lower decks. It was small, with old furniture and dim lights. There were 2 rooms, a sleeping area, and a small kitchen. Everything was clean, but simple. "This is where you live?" Minna asked. Taurine nodded. "It's not much. It's better than nothing," she said quietly. Taurine gave her a blanket and a place to rest. He didn't ask questions. He didn't try to touch her. He just made sure she had food and water. Minna lay down on the bed and stared at the ceiling. Everything had changed in one day. She had lost a rich fiancé and married a poor worker. People would laugh at her. Her family would be shocked. But for now, in this quiet room, she felt a strange kind of peace. The next morning, Minna woke up to the smell of tea. Taurine was making breakfast. He moved slowly and carefully, like he had done it many times before. "I hope you like toast," he said. She smiled. "Thank you." They sat and ate in silence. Minna noticed that Taurine always watched her politely. He didn't talk much, but when he did, he spoke with respect. "You don't seem like other men," she said. "I'm not like most people," he answered. "What do you mean?" Taurine just gave a small smile and changed the subject. After breakfast, he left for work. Minna stayed behind, looking round the small home. It was plain, but there were small signs that Taurine was more than he appeared. There was a strange device hidden under the table, something she didn't recognize. A toolbox with high-level tools was in the corner. She picked up a small chip. It had alien writing on it. "Who are you, Taurine?" she whispered. That evening, He came back quietly. Minna had cooked a simple meal. They sat and ate again, this time with more words. She asked about his past. He gave simple answers. He grew up on a small Earth colony. He worked with machines. He liked quiet places. He didn't talk about family or past jobs, or why he was living alone. "You're a mystery," Minna said. "Maybe," he said softly. She looked at him for a long moment. "Why did you say yes yesterday?" Tarin looked into her eyes. "Because you needed someone, and I wanted to be that someone." Minna felt her heart beat a little faster. She didn't know what to say. That night, as she lay in bed, she thought about everything again. Maybe she had made a mistake. Maybe she had made the right choice. All she knew was this: Tarin was not like other men. And deep inside her, something told her that her new life, this strange, sudden marriage, was going to be far more important than anything she had planned, more dangerous, more mysterious, and maybe more meaningful. Minna slowly got used to her new life with Tarin. Each day was quiet. Tarin left early in the morning for his cleaning job at the space station. Minna stayed in the small home. She cleaned, cooked, and tried to make the place feel more warm. It was not much, but it was safe. She was no longer rich. She was no longer known as the future wife of Officer Rowland. Now, she was just Minna, the wife of a quiet worker in the lower decks. At first, it was hard. She missed the soft clothes, the fine food, and the attention. But day by day, something began to change. She started to notice things. One evening, Tarin came home with a small injury on his hand. "What happened?" Minna asked. "Just a cut," Tarin replied. The robot arms were moving too fast today. She cleaned the wound and gave him tea. He thanked her with a soft voice. "You never complain," she said. "You work so hard." Tarin looked at her for a moment. "Life is easier when we accept it. Complaining does not help." His answer stayed in her mind for a long time. Days passed. Minna started to explore the home more. It was small, but full of secrets. In one drawer, under some old tools, she found a strange round object. It glowed with a soft blue light. She picked it up, and a small image appeared in the air, a star map she didn't recognize. She quickly placed it back. Another day, she found a box of chips with alien writing. She didn't understand the language, but it didn't look like something a normal cleaner would have. There were also books, real paper books, rare and expensive. Books about energy, biology, human history, and advanced space travel. "Tarin, who are you really?" she whispered to herself. One night, Minna was not sleepy. Tarin had already gone to bed. She heard a soft hum from the next room. Curious, she walked quietly to the door and peeked in. Tarin was sitting at a desk. A screen showed symbols in fast motion. His hands moved over a strange keyboard. On the desk were machines she had never seen before. One looked like a crystal ball with wires. Suddenly, Tarin spoke, but not in Earth language. He was speaking in a clear alien tongue. Minna stepped back, shocked. Who was this man she married? The next morning, she asked him, "Tarin, do you speak other languages?" Tarin looked up from his cup of tea. "Yes, alien languages?" "Yes." Minna paused. "How?" Tarin was quiet. Then he said, "I learned during my past jobs." "You don't work as just a cleaner, do you?" He gave a small smile. "Not always." Minna didn't push more. She knew he was hiding something, but she also knew he was not dangerous. He was kind, honest, but clearly much more than what he showed. A few days later, Minna went to the market. She wore a simple cloak and carried a bag. On her way back, she ran into someone from her past, her cousin Rena. Rena looked surprised. "Minna, is that you?" "Yes," Minna said calmly. You married someone else? Already?" Minna nodded. Rena leaned closer. "They say he's a poor man, a floor cleaner." Minna replied, "Yes, but he's kind. He treats me with respect." Rena laughed softly. "Well, maybe that's better than being rich and alone." After Rena walked away, Minna felt proud. She had spoken with confidence. She was no longer ashamed. That night, she asked Tarin, if you could be anything in the world, what would you be? Tarin looked thoughtful. Free, he said. Free from what? He didn't answer. Instead, he looked into her eyes and said, what about you? Minna thought for a moment. I want to be useful. I don't want to feel weak anymore. Tarin nodded. That's a strong wish. One evening, while cleaning the shelves, Minna found a box under the floorboard. It was locked, but she could see strange symbols on it. It looked old and important. When Tarin returned, she showed it to him. He looked at it silently, then said, this is not something I want others to find. I'm not others, she said gently. I'm your wife. Tarin stared at her, and for the first time, his eyes showed something deeper, fear. Maybe even sadness. I'll tell you everything, he whispered, but not yet. A few days later, they went to the viewing deck. It was a large area, where people came to see the stars. Minna and Tarin stood together in silence, looking at the black sky filled with lights. Do you ever miss Earth? She asked. Tarin shook his head. Earth is still there, but not the same. What do you mean? Earth gave humans something special, something many don't see. That's why some aliens fear us. Minna looked at him with confusion. Fear us? Why? Because, he said softly, humans adapt. We survive. We change fast. That scares them. Minna didn't fully understand, but she listened. Later that night, as they walked back home, Tarin suddenly stopped. He turned to her and said, Minna, thank you. For what? For marrying me, even without knowing me. Minna smiled. You didn't know me either. Tarin nodded. But I knew you had a strong heart. They walked the rest of the way hand in hand. Minna lay in bed that night, her eyes on the ceiling again. Yes, her life was different now. She had married a stranger, a poor man. But day by day, she felt he was not poor at all. He was full of mystery, full of knowledge, and maybe full of power. She still didn't know the whole truth, but she felt something in her heart, something deep and certain. This man, her husband Tarin, was not what he seemed, and soon, the galaxy would learn that. 2 days turned into weeks. Minna and Tarin continued living their quiet life in the lower decks of the colony station. Every morning, Tarin left for work, and every evening, he came home with a gentle smile and a tired face. Minna cooked, cleaned, and began helping some neighbors with small tasks to earn a few credits. But even in peace, Minna felt a strange feeling growing inside her, a quiet sense of being watched. At first, she thought it was just her imagination. But then, small things started happening. One morning, as Minna returned from the local market, she noticed a man watching her from across the hallway. He wore a dark coat and didn't move, even when she looked straight at him. When she turned a corner and looked back, he was gone. Another time, she caught a glimpse of 2 people speaking in whispers near their home. As soon as she approached, they walked away quickly without saying anything. She told Tarin that night. He didn't look surprised. In fact, he looked even more serious than usual. Did they say anything? He asked. No, Minna said. They just stared. Tarin nodded slowly. We may need to be careful. Who are they? She asked. But Tarin didn't answer. 3 days later, a message arrived on their door scanner. It was a simple digital card, but it had no sender. Minna pressed the screen. A robotic voice said, We know who you are. Give us what we want, and we'll leave you in peace. Minna stared at the screen in shock. She showed it to Tarin when he came home. Tarin looked at the message, then pressed his thumb to the screen. It melted into smoke and disappeared. What was that? Minna asked. Tarin took a deep breath. I was hoping they wouldn't find us. Who? She asked. Tarin looked at her. His eyes were serious now. Alien agents. Some call them watchers. They work for powerful groups, not all of them legal. They don't want me alive. Minna felt cold. But why? You're just a cleaner? Tarin shook his head. I'm not. He sat down and placed a small metal disc on the table. A blue light came from it, forming a 3D image, a complex design of a machine. I built something, he said. A machine that can unlock hidden parts of the human brain. A machine that could make humans stronger, smarter, faster. Minna stared at the floating image, speechless. They feared it. Tarin continued. They didn't want humans to grow stronger, so they tried to steal my work. I escaped and erased my identity. Minna whispered, "You're not poor, are you?" Tarin gave a sad smile. "I'm worth millions, but I can't use any of it. If I do, they'll find me." Minna leaned back, trying to understand everything. "And now they've found us." Tarin nodded. "Yes, and they'll come for me." That night, Minna couldn't sleep. She looked at Tarin as he worked quietly in the next room. He was checking devices, making notes, preparing tools. He wasn't a cleaner. He was a genius, a man hunted by dangerous people, and now she was part of his life. But strangely, she didn't feel afraid. She felt stronger. The next day, as Minna stepped out of their home, she saw someone standing at the corner again. This time, it was a woman, tall, wearing a dark gray cloak. She had sharp eyes and strange marks on her face, like tattoos. Minna looked at her without blinking. The woman nodded slowly, then walked away. Minna returned inside and locked the door. "Tarin," she said, "they're watching again." He stood up at once. "We need to leave. Tonight. Where will we go?" "To the old tech tunnels under the station. They're not scanned. We'll be safe there, for now." As night fell, Minna and Tarin packed their few belongings. Tarin hid the glowing machine parts in a metal box, then covered it with dirty clothes. They left through the back tunnel, walking quietly. The lower tunnels were dark and cold. Old pipes dripped water, and the lights flickered weakly. Few people came. "Here now." Tarin guided her through narrow paths. He moved like someone who had walked these halls many times before. Finally, they reached an empty chamber with metal walls and a heavy door. Tarin opened it with a special code. Inside, there were tools, lights, and even food supplies. "You had this ready?" Minna asked. "I always have a backup plan," Tarin said. As they settled inside, Minna sat close to him and asked, "Why did you really marry me?" Tarin looked surprised. "I told you. You needed someone, but you didn't even know me." Tarin looked into her eyes. "Because when I saw you, I saw someone strong, someone honest. You didn't look at me like I was useless. You just saw me." Minna felt her heart beat faster. "And now," Tarin said softly, "you deserve to know everything." He showed her the full machine, a silver device with a glowing center. It pulsed with a soft blue light. "This," he said, "can change everything." Minna placed her hand near it. She could feel a soft warmth. "It's beautiful." "Yes," Tarin said, "but it's dangerous if the wrong people take it. They can use it to control others. But if we finish it, it can give humans the power to stand equal to the alien races." Minna nodded. "Then we must protect it." Tarin looked at her with pride. "You're not afraid." "I am," she said, "but I trust you." Suddenly, there was a loud sound outside. A sharp bang followed by metal steps. Tarin grabbed a small device and gave Minna a signal to stay low. He opened a secret panel on the wall and pulled out a weapon, something small, round, and glowing. Footsteps came closer. Voices speaking in an alien language echoed through the hall. Tarin moved to the door silently. Then, everything went quiet. Minna held her breath. Tarin opened the door quickly, but no one was there. Only a message left on the wall, written in glowing red symbols. "You can run, but not forever." Minna looked at Tarin. "They're close." "Yes," he said, "but we'll be ready." They closed the door and began their next move together. She was no longer the broken bride. She was the wife of a hunted genius, and now she was ready to stand with him. Minna sat on the cold floor of the hidden chamber, her back against the wall. The soft light from Tarin's machine filled the small room with a quiet blue glow. Outside, the alien agents were still searching, and she could hear the distant sound of their footsteps. But inside the room, everything was calm. Tarin was sitting beside her, looking at the glowing device in his hands. "This is the machine you built?" Minna asked softly. Tarin nodded. "Yes, I call it the core." "What does it do exactly?" Tarin looked at her, his eyes serious. "It unlocks parts of the human brain that have been asleep for a long time. It doesn't change people. It just helps them reach their full power. Minna tried to understand. So, it makes people smarter? Smarter, stronger, faster. But not in a crazy way, he explained. It brings out what's already inside. Hidden talents, hidden strength. Minna was silent for a moment. And the aliens don't want that. No, Tarin said. Most alien leaders believe humans are weak and slow. But some of them know the truth. Humans are special. We learn fast. We adapt. That scares them. Is that why they're chasing you? Tarin nodded. I worked with a group of alien scientists once. I helped them create new machines. But when I discovered what humans could really do, they told me to stop. They wanted to keep it hidden. Minna looked at the glowing core. And you didn't stop? No, he said. Because I believe humans have the right to grow, to stand equal with the other powerful species. Minna slowly reached out and touched his hand. And now I believe it too. The next few days passed in silence. Tarin and Minna stayed hidden in the underground tech tunnels. Tarin worked on fixing the core. It was damaged during one of their escapes. Minna helped him clean wires, hold tools, and read old repair notes. She wasn't a scientist, but she was smart. She learned quickly, and Tarin was a good teacher. You're doing well, he told her one evening. You could have been an engineer. She smiled. I was almost married to a soldier. Now I'm helping build a machine to change the future. Tarin looked at her with a soft smile. Strange how life works. One morning, Tarin woke up with a serious look on his face. He placed a small map on the table. There's something we need to find, he said. A crystal. Minna blinked. Crystal? Yes, the core needs a special energy crystal to work at full power. Without it, the process is weak and slow. I had one, but I lost it during the last attack. Where do we find another one? Tarin pointed at the map. On a planet called Core 5. It's an old mining world, dangerous, wild, and mostly abandoned. But I know a lab there that still has one. Minna looked at the dark spot on the map. It sounds risky. It is, Tarin said. But we don't have a choice. That evening, Tarin prepared a small travel bag. Minna packed a few supplies. Their plan was to take a cargo ship in disguise, land on Core 5, and get the crystal. Before the alien agents could stop them. As they finished packing, Minna said, You never told me how rich you really are. Tarin smiled. Technically, I'm a millionaire. I created tech designs that other companies still use today, but all my money is frozen. If I touch it, the system will alert the aliens. Minna looked at him with wide eyes. So, we're poor by choice? Tarin laughed quietly. Yes, for now. Minna shook her head. I married a mystery. You married a fugitive, he said with a smile. No, Minna replied. I married a good man. The next day, they left the tech tunnels and moved through the shadows of the colony. Minna wore a long cloak. Tarin used a voice changer to pass security. They reached the cargo bay and boarded a small delivery ship. The pilot didn't ask questions. He only cared about payment. As the ship took off, Minna looked out the window. Are we really doing this? She asked. Yes, Tarin said. We're doing this together. The journey to Core 5 took 2 days. The ship was small, and the rooms were tight. But Minna didn't mind. She and Tarin talked, shared stories, and even laughed for the first time in weeks. Tarin told her about his childhood on a farming moon. He had always loved machines more than people. He learned to build things before he could write. Minna told him about her dream of becoming a teacher. She had wanted a simple life. Now her life was anything but simple. We're not normal anymore, she said. No, Tarin replied. We're more. When they landed on Core 5, the air was dry and the sky was dark red. The planet was filled with broken buildings and old mining robots. Dust storms blew across the rocky land. They moved quickly to the old science lab. Tarin remembered the path from his past visit. They found the building half buried under sand, but still standing. Inside, everything was quiet. Machines were covered in dust. Lights flickered weakly. But deep in the lab, They found it, the energy crystal. Glowing softly in its case. Taurine picked it up with care. We have it, Minna smiled. Now let's get out of here. But the moment they turned to leave, they heard a sound, voices, and footsteps. They followed us, Minna whispered. Taryn's face turned cold. They tracked the ship. They hid behind a metal wall as 3 alien agents entered the lab. They wore dark suits and carried scanning tools. One of them spoke in a sharp alien voice. Find the crystal. The human cannot be far. Minna held her breath. Taurine whispered. Follow me. They moved through the back hallway, careful not to make a sound. But just as they reached the exit, one of the agents saw them. There. Stop them. Taurine pushed Minna forward. Run. They ran through the broken hallway. Lasers flew past them. Taurine threw a small flash bomb behind them. Blinding the agents for a few seconds, they reached the exit and jumped into a small vehicle. Left near the building. As they sped away, Minna looked back and saw the agents chasing them. We have the crystal, she said. But they won't stop. Taurine nodded. Then we don't stop either. That night, as they rested inside a cave outside the city ruins, Minna looked at the glowing crystal in Tarin's hand. So much danger for something so small. She said, but it's the heart of the core. Taurine replied, with this, we can finish it, and then everything changes. Minna placed her hand over his. Then let's finish what we started, together. The sky above Core 5 was dark as usual, filled with red dust and dry wind. Inside the cave, Minna sat close to Taurine, holding the crystal gently in her hands. It was small, glowing softly with blue and white light, but its power was clear. Taurine carefully packed the crystal into a special container. Now the core will be complete, he said. Minna nodded. And then what happens? Then, Taurine replied, we share it with the right people. We show the galaxy what humans can become. Minna looked at him seriously. But first, we need to survive. Taurine gave a small smile. Yes, and that won't be easy. The next morning, they left the cave before sunrise. The alien agents were still on the planet. Taurine didn't want to wait for them to catch up. They used an old mining path to reach a hidden shuttle port. Years ago, Taurine had helped design escape tunnels like this on multiple planets. He remembered them well. As they reached the landing zone, they saw an old trader's ship preparing for departure. The trader was a tall alien with green skin and long arms. He didn't ask too many questions, especially after Taurine gave him a rare energy cell as payment. They entered the ship quietly. The ship took off with no trouble, leaving the dusty red planet behind. But peace didn't last long. Halfway through their journey, the ship's alarm rang. A large cruiser appeared on the radar. It was an alien patrol ship, and it was heading straight for them. Minna looked at the screen. They found us again. Taurine frowned. They're tracking us faster now. They may have placed a small bug on us or the crystal. What do we do? Taurine didn't answer at first. Then he said, we need to disappear. No signals, no lights. We go dark. He went to the pilot room and quickly entered a secret command. The ship powered down almost fully. Only life support stayed on. Outside, the ship looked like floating space junk. The alien cruiser scanned the area and then moved on. They had escaped, for now. Later, as they floated silently through space, Minna sat beside Taurine. Is this what your life was always like? She asked. Taurine nodded. Ever since I ran from the labs, always hiding, always moving. Doesn't it get lonely? He looked at her. It did, but not anymore. Minna smiled softly. They sat together, watching the stars from the small window. For a few moments, everything felt peaceful. After reaching a small neutral station, Taurine and Minna switched to another ship. This time, it was a human-owned vessel, moving toward a distant Earth colony named Vernine, a quiet place with few visitors. Taurine had a friend there, a man named Roan, who once worked with him long ago. Roan was a mechanic and a pilot. Taurine believed he could help them finish the core in safety. The journey to Vernine took 2 more days. During this time, Minna helped Taurine fix the core. She was now more than a helper. She was his partner. She learned how to connect wires, balance the energy, and checked the power flow. Tarin was impressed by how fast she learned. "You have a good mind," he said. "I just had the wrong life," she answered. When they arrived at Vernine, the station was quiet and small. It was built on a moon with green hills and blue skies, rare in this part of the galaxy. Rowan greeted them at the dock. He was a strong, older man with short gray hair and a metal arm. "Tarin," he said with a wide grin, "I thought you were dead." "Not yet," Tarin smiled. Rowan looked at Minna. "And this is my wife," Tarin said. Rowan raised his eyebrows. "You've changed, my friend." He welcomed them into his workshop, a large space filled with tools, machines, and half-built ships. "You can stay here," Rowan said. "But if someone follows you, I'll need to know." "They will follow," Tarin said honestly. "But we'll be ready for the next days." Tarin and Minna worked with Rowan to rebuild and complete the core. With the crystal in place, the machine came to life, glowing brighter than before. Rowan watched the device carefully. "So, this little thing is going to change the future?" "Yes," Tarin said. "It will give humans the power they've never had before." Rowan shook his head. "Then we better guard it." But peace didn't last. Late at night, while Minna was resting and Tarin was working on some final tests, a loud noise shook the workshop. Boom. Rowan ran in. "Ship just landed outside." "Not ours." Tarin grabbed a weapon from the table and handed Minna a small shield device. "We're out of time," he said. The alien agents had found them again. This time, there were more of them. 5 tall, strong soldiers with advanced armor and energy rifles. They stormed into the workshop. "Give us the device," one of them ordered. Tarin stood in front of Minna. "No." The leader raised his weapon, then died with it, before they could shoot. Minna pressed the shield button. A bubble of energy formed around her and Tarin. Rowan activated the security system. Laser traps, smoke, and loud alarms filled the room. Chaos broke out. Minna grabbed a metal rod and hit one of the agents trying to break the shield. Tarin used his weapon to disable another suit. Rowan fought like a warrior, defending his workshop, but the agents were strong. One of them grabbed Minna and pushed her to the floor. The core fell from her hands and rolled away. "No," she screamed. Tarin jumped forward and tackled the agent. They both crashed into a pile of tools. Minna crawled toward the core. Another agent aimed his gun at her. Time slowed. Minna grabbed the core and pressed the emergency code Tarin had taught her. The core released a bright wave of energy. Boom! The agents fell back, stunned, their suits overloaded and shut down. Minna stood up, still holding the core. The room was quiet again. They had won. Later, Rowan cleaned the mess as Tarin checked Minna's injuries. She had a few bruises, but she was strong. "You saved it," Tarin said. "You taught me," she smiled. They looked at the core. It was safe, but more danger would come. They both knew it still. Minna was no longer just a woman with a broken past. She was now someone new, stronger, braver, and ready for the fight ahead. And Tarin? He was no longer hiding alone. They were no longer running. Now, they were standing together. The air in Rowan's workshop was heavy with smoke. Broken machines and fallen alien agents lay scattered across the floor. The battle had ended. But Minna knew it was not truly over. She sat on a metal chair, holding a cold cloth to her arm where she had been hit. Tarin was busy checking the core. The device had survived, but a small crack now ran across its side. "It's still working," Tarin said. "But we can't keep running like this," Rowan agreed. "They'll keep coming, each time stronger. If this thing is really that powerful, they won't stop." Minna looked at both men. "Then maybe it's time we stop hiding." Later that night, as the stars shone over the quiet moon of Vernine, Tarin shared a plan. He placed a map on the table. It showed a region of space called Sector 5, home to many human colonies, mining towns, and transport routes. "There's a place here," Tarin said, pointing at a small red dot, "a human-controlled station called Nova Edge. It's one of the last free stations. No alien control. No heavy laws." Rowan leaned closer. "You want to go there?" Tarin nodded. "Yes." We'll reveal the core, not to governments, but to the people, scientists, engineers, thinkers, people who believe in human strength. Minna understood. You want to give it to the world? No, Tarin corrected gently. I want to share it with those who will use it wisely. 3 days later, they left Veronine. Roan gave them a fast ship, small, but strong. Before they left, he looked at Minna and said, "You're braver than most soldiers I've known." "Thank you," Minna replied. He turned to Tarin. "Take care of her, and take care of yourself. The galaxy needs you." Tarin nodded. "We'll be careful, and we'll be ready." The journey to Nova Edge was not smooth. They passed through dangerous zones, avoided pirate traps, and once had to hide behind an asteroid when a patrol ship flew by. But Minna had changed. She was no longer the quiet girl who cried over a broken engagement. She was strong now, alert, focused, and always watching the radar. Tarin trusted her completely. Together, they made a great team. Finally, they reached Nova Edge. The station floated like a silver flower in space, its arms stretched out like petals. It was large, full of life. Traders, builders, explorers, all kinds of people walked its halls. As they entered, Minna noticed one thing. Here, humans stood tall. No alien patrols, no scanners, no watchers, just freedom. Tarin contacted an old friend named Dr. Vora, a famous human scientist known for her work on brain research. She had once supported Tarin's ideas, but had to hide when the aliens started watching her. When she saw Tarin and Minna walk into her lab, she gasped. "You're alive," she said, hugging Tarin. "I thought they caught you." "Almost," Tarin replied, "but we survived." Dr. Vora turned to Minna. "And this must be the one who saved your life." Tarin smiled. "She saved more than that." Minna blushed slightly, but shook Dr. Vora's hand with pride. That night, Tarin showed the core to a small group of trusted scientists inside Nova Edge. Minna stood beside him as he explained its purpose. "This device does not control people," he said. "It frees them. It helps humans reach their hidden strength." The room was silent as he activated the core. A soft blue light filled the space. For a moment, everyone felt warm, calm, clear-headed. "It enhances thought," Dr. Vora whispered. "I can feel it." One scientist said, "This could change medicine, education, even war." "But we must be careful," Tarin warned. "If this falls into the wrong hands, it can be used to control instead of help." Minna stepped forward. "That's why we're here, to find the right hands." The group nodded. A plan was made. News of the core began to spread through Nova Edge quietly. A small group of humans, known as the Free Mind Union, agreed to protect the core and study it under full safety. Minna helped organize meetings, made sure all security checks were done, and even gave speeches. People listened to her. They respected her. She had become more than Tarin's wife. She was a leader now. But of course, peace did not last. One night, while Minna was checking supplies in the lab, a quiet alarm beeped. Tarin rushed in. "They found us." Minna's heart sank. "How?" "A signal. Maybe from one of the scientists. Or a hacked camera. Doesn't matter now. They're coming." Outside the station, ships were gathering. Alien patrols, enemy agents. Nova Edge had no army, but the people were ready to fight. Tarin stood before the station leaders. "We won't run this time." Minna stood beside him. "We defend the core. Together." Dr. Vora and her team helped install shields. Engineers created traps. Traders brought weapons. Even children helped pass tools. Nova Edge became a fortress, not to destroy, but to protect hope. The enemy arrived the next day. They sent a message first: "Surrender the device, or your station will fall." Tarin responded calmly, "No." Then the battle began. Minna stayed in the command room, guiding people, sending messages, and helping move the core to a hidden chamber. Tarin fought alongside the defense teams, using special tools and systems only he understood. The enemy had numbers, but humans had heart. They fought not just to win, but to protect their right to grow, their right to rise. After hours of fighting, the enemy began to retreat. They had lost many agents. The station had taken damage, but the core was safe. Minna found Taran standing outside the main gate, his clothes dirty, his face tired. "You're hurt," she said, touching his arm. "I'm okay," he smiled. "And you?" She nodded. "We did it." Taran looked up at the stars. "Maybe now," he said, "the galaxy will listen." That night, a message was sent from Nova Edge to every human colony. We are no longer weak. We are no longer afraid. The core is real. Humanity has the right to rise. The message spread like fire. Hope was born. And it all started with one broken heart and one stranger with a secret. A soft breeze moved through the halls of Nova Edge Station. It was calm now. The alarms were quiet, and the weapons were locked away. The walls still had marks from the last attack, but the people stood stronger than before. Minna walked through the station slowly, checking in with teams, offering help. And listening to their stories, children ran past her, laughing. Traders were back at their shops. Engineers were rebuilding broken sections with new hope in their eyes. She stopped for a moment to look at the stars outside the wide glass windows. Once her life had been planned for her. A rich marriage, a name, a role in high society. But now, she had something more valuable, purpose. In the control room, Taran was working with Dr. Vora. They were testing the core again, the powerful device that had changed everything. "It's stable," Vora said, watching the readings, "more stable than before." Taran smiled. "Thanks to Minna. She suggested we add that second energy filter. I would have missed it." Dr. Vora laughed. "Smart woman. You chose well." "I didn't choose," Taran replied. "It just happened, and it was the best thing in my life." Later that day, a meeting was called in the main hall. Humans from different colonies, scientists, engineers, and leaders all joined through hologram. The message from Nova Edge had reached them, and now they wanted to talk. Minna and Taran stood together as the crowd listened. Taran stepped forward. "We didn't build the core for war. We built it to awaken what is already inside us. The human potential." A voice came through a screen. "Can it really be trusted? What if someone uses it to harm?" Minna replied calmly, "Everything in the galaxy can be used for good or bad. But hiding from growth won't protect us. Standing together will." Another person asked, "Will you share the core?" Taran looked at Minna, then said, "Not yet. Not until we make sure it's safe, protected, and in the right hands. We will train others. We will teach them, slowly, carefully. This is not a race. It's a rise." The people clapped. The message was clear. Over the next few weeks, Nova Edge became a symbol of new hope. More humans arrived to learn, to build, and to help protect the core. Taran and Minna created a small team called the Human Awakening Circle. They chose only those with clear minds and good hearts. Minna started leading training sessions. She taught about strength, teamwork, and how to stay calm in danger. Even those who once doubted her now respected her. She's a real leader. Rowan said during one visit, "Not born into power. She earned it." One day, a message came from Earth. A group of old leaders, the same ones who had once ignored human rights in space, asked for a meeting. Taran and Minna agreed. They spoke with Earth's leaders through a live channel. "You left us," Minna said, her voice steady. "You let others control us while you watched from afar. We were afraid," one of them admitted. "But now, we see that fear was a mistake." Taran replied, "Then don't repeat that mistake. Stand with us now. Help us rise, together." There was silence. Then a quiet voice said, "You have our support." It was a small step, but it meant everything. Months passed. The core was duplicated in limited form, shared with trusted human colonies. Scientists began using it to heal brain injuries, help children learn faster, and allow workers to handle space stress better. But Taran never allowed it to be sold or copied by large corporations. "This is not for profit," he said. "It's for progress." Minna helped build the first Human Unity School, a training center for future leaders who would protect this new gift. She led with patience, strength, and wisdom. People from all over came to learn, even some aliens, curious and open-minded, arrived to understand the core. Not all aliens were enemies. Some believed in peace and learning from humans. The galaxy was slowly changing. One quiet evening, Tarin and Minna sat together on a bench near the station garden. Flowers from Earth and other planets had been planted there, and soft lights glowed. Around them, "You remember the day we met?" Minna asked with a smile. "Yes," Tarin said. "You walked into the marriage office, angry and lost. And you looked like the poorest man on the station." "I was, at least on paper." Minna laughed. "I thought I had lost everything, but you found everything," Tarin replied gently. "And so did I." She looked up at the stars. "Do you think the galaxy will always be this peaceful?" Tarin shook his head. "No, peace never stays forever. But now we're ready. Now we have hope." Suddenly, a message alert blinked on Tarin's wrist device. He opened it. Another request. Minna asked. "Yes," he said. "From a new colony. They want training. They want to join." Minna stood up. "Then let's help them." As they walked back to the control room, hand in hand, people around them smiled, waved, and followed. They were no longer hiding. They were leading. The girl whose engagement had been broken, the poor man with a secret past, had become something more. Together, they had started a fire of change across the stars. And this was just the beginning.